Hello everyone, Minute Plus Meditation here. It's Wednesday, October the 18th, and it's the feast of St. Luke, one of the who wrote, of course, the Gospel and the Acts of the Apostles. He was a physician. He's the patron saint of physicians. Okay, the first reading is from 2 Timothy. I'm just going to, kind of glide through it, some salient points. So St. Paul is writing to this spiritual son of his and saying, "Do your best to come to me soon. Timothy, for Demas has, in love with the world, present world, has deserted me and gone to Thessalonica, and others have left as well." Then he goes on further, "At my first defense, no one came to my support, but all deserted me. May it not be counted against them." So he's feeling this, he says, Alexander the coppersmith has done him great harm. And he says the Lord will pay him back for his deeds. Everybody, because Alexander obviously was a narcissistic individual and he wanted to hurt Paul. Only God can ultimately judge these things, the integrity of a person's heart. But Paul knows that there was something more than simply an upright defense of what you truly believe, if you're a pagan here. So there's more going on, like Alexander wanted to hurt Paul rather than engage in conversation with him and type of thing. So there's a lot there that I just can't go into because of time. And then he says, "But the Lord stood by me and gave me strength so that through me the message might be fully proclaimed and all the Gentiles might hear it." So Paul, is saying on the one hand, I am going through a tough time. Demas has deserted me for love of the world. Alexander the coppersmith has done me great harm. So he's not just being willy-nilly about this, he's not aloof about this. This has hurt me. But he says the Lord has stood by me. So it's an example for you and me that we are going to experience hurt and this kind of thing in this world, but that doesn't mean the Lord doesn't stand by us or the Lord is not answering our prayer. But He will not always save us from these things, but He will save us through them. He'll get us through them. And that's really important for all of us to remember. Okay, over to the gospel. From among His disciples, Jesus appointed 70 and sent them out on ahead of Him in pairs to every town and place where He Himself intended to go. He said, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore ask the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers to His harvest. It's typical. This has been made a prayer for vocations of the priesthood and religious life, But he says, "Go on your way. I'm sending you out like lambs among wolves. Carry no purse, no bag, no sandals, and greet no one on the road." And basically, this is the tenor of the rest of this section of the gospel. First of all, he says, Jesus appointed the 70. He said to them, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few, so go on your way. He's sending them out, right? He's sending them out and basically saying to them, take no bag, no haversack, and so on. I will take care of you. And as I said before, not one of these men died of starvation. Not one of them were suffered from malnutrition. They were taken care of in terms of their temporal needs. Exactly what they needed: housing, clothing, housing, and food. They had this when they were sent out as missionaries. Jesus sent them out. Yes, many of them eventually, of course, were martyred for the faith, but again, He saves us through these things and not from these things. Not always from them, but through them. Sorry, getting that mixed up. So it is with you and me. Jesus continues to give this great commission to go out, go therefore. And he calls us to this trust as well. But we can't trust Him if we don't know Him. So we need to get to know Him. We need to follow Him. We need to hear Him. We need to allow Him to teach us. We need to be formed by Him so that we can then be sent out. And that's what we are trying to do here at Corpus Christi with this 10-year vision, and the 4 core values that we're aligning everything in the parish with, engaged disciples, evangelical hospitality, multiplying leaders, and rooted in tradition, and aligning everything we do in the parish to these values so that we can form disciples and then send them out And send them out does not mean we go to a country in Africa or to Southeast Asia, but send them out to Vancouver. Send them out to your city, because that's where missionary territory is right now, even to your own family members. So remember this, they had to get to know Jesus, and they did get to know him before he sent them out. And then he called them to radical trust in him. You and I need to get to know Jesus so he can send us out too. And he calls us to radical trust in him as well. God bless you.